Today, we're diving into a really high-stakes gamble. But this one's not being made by a player. It's being made by an entire country. We're talking about Portugal and its massive bet on how to run its online gambling market. It's a strategy that forces companies to go all in just to get a seat at the table. So what's the prize they're all fighting for?
Well, let's start with the prize, and it is a big one, over 300 million euros. That's how much revenue Portugal's online gambling market pulls in every single year, and that number just keeps on climbing. It's a huge pot, and you can bet everyone wants a piece of it.
And that number, it's more than just money. It represents a seriously thriving industry with players who are super engaged. For any iGaming company out there, Portugal looks like one of the juiciest targets in all of Europe. But as you might guess, grabbing a slice of this pie isn't quite as simple as just showing up and asking nicely. And this, right here, is where it gets interesting. The opportunity is absolutely massive, but the cost to get in the door is deliberately incredibly steep. Portugal has designed a system that's a real challenge to break into, and that creates this fascinating tension. A huge prize, but only a select few can even compete for it. So think of this less like a free-for-all gold rush and more like an exclusive club with a very tough doorman. The government has managed to create a stable, regulated, and very profitable market, but they've also built some seriously high walls around it. Now, to really get why Portugal built these walls, we have to look back. Way back. The country's relationship with games of chance didn't just pop up with the internet. Nope. It goes back for centuries, and it's a story shaped by everything from seafarers and royal decrees to a long, slow march toward the rules we see today. And what a journey it's been. It really kicked off way back in 1783 with the Royal Lottery. But for our story, the magic number is 2015. That's when the modern online gambling framework was officially born. And it's not like they just said it and forgot it. Just this year, they brought in even tighter controls on advertising. The pattern here is crystal clear. It's been a centuries-long move toward tight, state-controlled oversight.
Okay, so who's the one enforcing all these rules today? Let's meet the market's powerful gatekeeper. Think of them as the strict referee who's in charge of the entire game.
And that referee is the SRIJ. The name basically translates to the Gaming Regulation and Inspection Service. And believe me, their authority is absolute. They're the ones who hand out the licenses. They're the ones watching every move. And they're the ones who enforce the rules. In Portuguese iGaming, absolutely nothing happens without their say-so.
And getting the SRIJ's approval involves jumping through a whole lot of hoops. It goes way beyond just paying a fee. Operators have to prove they're financially rock solid, that their tech is secure, and that they're ethically responsible. We're talking serious anti-money laundering checks, tools for responsible gaming, and audited proof that their games are fair. It's a complete 360-degree inspection designed to weed out anyone who isn't 100% serious.
And being serious in this market also means being very, very well funded. So let's talk about the money. This is the buy-in for this high-stakes game. And honestly, it's the point where a lot of potential operators have to just fold their hand before the cards are even dealt. These numbers are just staggering. Before you can even think about taking a single bet, you need to have over 600,000 euros just in guarantees. And that €500,000 security deposit, that's not a fee you pay. It's a bond held to make sure you keep your promises. This immediately prices out smaller startups and sends a crystal clear message. Only the major, deep-pocketed players should even bother applying. So let's say you get in. Well, the financial hurdles don't stop there because you've got two very different tax models to deal with. For casinos, it's 25% of gross gaming revenue. That's basically the house's take after paying out winnings. Pretty standard. But for sports betting, it's 8% of turnover. And this is the real kicker. Turnover is the total amount of money bet by everyone. So an operator pays tax on every single euro wagered. It doesn't matter if they won or lost that bet. For the government, that's predictable cash. But for the operator, that model can be absolutely brutal on your profit margins.
But here's where it gets really fascinating. While the operators are facing one of the toughest financial setups in Europe, for the players, it's the complete opposite. If you win on any licensed site in Portugal, those winnings are generally tax-free. This creates a huge incentive for players to stick to the regulated sites, which, of course, is a massive advantage for the few operators who actually manage to get that license.
Okay, so we've looked at the rules, we've gone through the history, and we've seen the costs. Let's put ourselves in the shoes of a big iGaming company for a second. You see the enormous prize, but you also see the massive barriers in your way. So is making this bet on Portugal actually worth it?
It really all comes down to this final calculation. On one side, you have a growing, super engaged market inside a stable and predictable EU framework. It's a fantastic launching pad. But on the other side, you've got those crushing upfront costs, that tricky tax system, and a market that's already filled with giants. The very same walls that keep everyone else out also mean you're competing with the other heavyweights who are strong enough to get in.
And that brings us to our final question, the big one. By setting the bar this high, has Portugal created the perfect blueprint for a safe, stable, and responsible gambling market? Or have they just built an exclusive club where only the richest companies can afford to play, maybe even stifling competition along the way? The real answer is probably somewhere in the middle, but one thing is for sure, it's a gamble that the rest of the world is watching very, very closely.